Hello everybody and welcome back. It is Michael from Hallowed Thrills back with another video, and today we are officially one day away from the opening night of Halloween Horror Nights 31 in Orlando. So to help ring in the fears, let's talk about my top 10 HHN 31 tips and tricks to how to maximize your night there at HHN in Orlando. Now before we get into all of that, please make sure you're subscribed and have those bell notifications turned on to get notified whenever I post a video. And also make sure you're following me on both Instagram and Twitter. The links for both those are down in the description below. Now, whether you're going one night or multiple nights, these tips will help you maximize your night and get the most houses, the most scare zones, the most food, the most shows done as fast as you possibly can, so you can actually enjoy the night. Now, starting off with my number 10 tip, that is getting there early. If you are not doing Stay and Scream, you still want to try to get there early if you can. So the park closes at 5 o'clock for the normal day guests. So if you are not doing Stay and Scream, 5 o'clock is the earliest you could possibly be there, technically, waiting outside. I mean, you could wait prior to close, but that's a bit excessive if you ask me. In my personal opinion, I try to get there no later than 5:30, because then it gets really crowded after that, and you don't want to be that person who shows up at 6:30 when the park opens for HHN, or at 6. So you either want to be there at 5 or 5:30, no later than 5:30 if you're really trying to get up towards the front. Because if you get there early, now you won't beat any of the people who are doing Stay and Scream, but one, you will have a better view for the opening ceremonies being up close to the front gates, and two, you do have the better opportunity to get in some of those houses a lot sooner than the rest of the people who are waiting back by the arches, back across the bridge, because like I said, it gets packed. So if you wait too long to get there, you could be waiting at the arches, and you could be waiting all the way at the other end of the bridge, like I've seen on some nights of the event, where it can get pretty crowded. So like I said, number 10, make sure you get there early if you aren't doing Stay and Scream. Now number 9 kind of goes off of that, and that is Stay and Scream. Stay and Scream is by far the best bang for your buck as far as add-ons for tickets for HHN. This allows you to get into the park between the hours of 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. To get in, you can do a couple rides, but you can get into those Stay and Scream holding areas, which there are different holding areas this year. From what I've heard, they're still the normal ones back over in Springfield, and there's also one still at Finnegan's, but there may be a new one at Richter's this year, and there's going to be one at the Today Cafe. Now, which one you go to depends on which houses you get into as well. I do not know what the lineups are as of right now, because we still haven't had the event, but you definitely want to do a little bit of research ahead of time if you are doing Stay and Scream as to which houses which Stay and Scream gets you into. But like I said, Stay and Scream is amazing. You can get through 1, 2, maybe even 3 houses before the actual event opens. They let you into some of those houses at like 5:30ish, and you can get through one house, you can go right into the next one, and in most cases I get through one, go into the second one, and then I'm in line for the third one before the gates even open. It's an amazing deal, and I think it's like $35 to do Stay and Scream, so without a doubt the best thing to do if you are trying to maximize your night. Number 8. Now this isn't really a getting stuff done sort of tip, but just a general tip. And that is, bring either a sealed water bottle or a refillable bottle, because it gets hot in Florida in September and October. And as much as people don't enjoy that, it does, and you're going to get dehydrated. So bring water, bring a bottle that you can refill, or the third option is you can buy those refillable Coke Freestyle bottles from Universal, and those things are an amazing deal as well. Not as good as of a deal as they used to be, because they used to do every night of the event, you used to have that refillable cup for the entirety of the event. Unfortunately, they don't do that anymore, but those cups are an amazing deal, as you pay that one price and you can refill it for the entire night. So you can go between getting water, or if you need that little caffeine boost as the night goes on, you can get some soda with that as well. And it is free refills throughout the entire night of the event, all the way up until the event ends at 2 a.m. Now we move on to number 7. Now this one I don't really use basically at all, and that is Express. Now, if you are a person who doesn't like waiting in lines, or is just going to the event for one night, then Express might be for you. If you are not part of those two groups, I would most likely suggest avoiding Express, because it's just not worth that money. Now, Express gets you through the Express line in every single house at the event one time, but it does give you unlimited Express through any of the attractions that are open, like the Mummy, Transformers, Rip Ride Rocket, stuff like that. So you can actually go through those rides as well through the Express unlimited, but the houses you only get one Express for throughout the entire night. That just guarantees you that you will get through all of those houses, because that wait time will be low, and it guarantees that you won't have to wait any longer than you need to going through with Express. So if money isn't that bad with you, and you're fine with spending a little extra, Express might be the way to go to make sure you get all those houses and shows done. Now, number 6, this is, you may not think that this is a maximizing tip, but it really is, because you want to make sure you are wearing comfortable shoes at HHN. It is a lot of walking, not only going through to the parade buildings, going from front to the park, the back of the park, and back and forth, but we also have a new entrance location for our house, which the Bugs Eaten Alive entrance is now over where the Men in Black entrance for that tent used to be, and it goes all the way around to the front of the parade of the sprung tent back there. So that is a super long walk now as well. So you definitely want to be wearing comfortable shoes, because if you're not wearing comfortable shoes, that's going to be a really long night for you, suffering going from house to house. And I can't tell you the amount of times I've seen people go to HHN in heels. You don't want to be like that, man, because I can't tell you the amount of times I've seen those people later on in the night with no shoes on anymore. And I know it's universal, but that's still not, no. But no joke, you want to wear comfortable shoes, or you're not going to make it throughout the entire night. Or if you do make it through the entire night, you are going to be a sobbing mess because your feet hurt so bad. My number 5 tip is merch. Now, if you go to Halloween Horror Nights, of course, you're probably going to want to buy some merchandise. There are specific times that I would suggest going shopping during the event night if you aren't going to the park before the event starts. And that would be during the peak front of house times. So say you start in the back of the park, you get both sprung tents and the parade buildings done before like 9:30ish, you are golden. You head up to the front of the park and you can do a little bit of shopping in that tribute store, because those front houses are going to be packed still. From like 9:30 until like 11, those waits are going to be up there. So you have your time, you can go do a little bit of shopping. Now, don't purchase anything, but you can do a little bit of looking, because what I will suggest is look around at what you want to buy during that time, and then before the event ends, go and buy it, because you don't want to be carrying around a bag all night. So that is my tip number 5 for merch. Look early in the night, buy at the end, so you don't have to be carrying it around. Number 4 is closing out the event. This is by far my favorite tip, because twilight hours of HHN between the hours of 1 and 2 a.m. are the peak hours to get as much stuff done as you possibly can. I have done, I think, 4 or 5 houses in that 1 hour span, because people are long gone at that time and the crowds are super low in that last hour. So if you get those 4 houses done in the back with the sprung tents and the parade buildings, you could knock out most of those front houses right at the end of the night. So stay, and don't forget also, the event is open till 2. That doesn't mean at 2 o'clock they say that's it. You can still get into a line for a house until 2 a.m. And once they hits 2 a.m., they close off the front of the line, the entrance of the line. But if you're in line by 2 a.m., you can still go through that house that you're in line for. They don't just say, nope, get out. You can still get through. So that is my number 4 tip, closing out the event. Because if you're waiting for that like big ticket house right at the end, and you don't want to, and you're okay with waiting the time, go for it right at the end. Number 3, getting food. Now, the last couple years, HHN has been knocking it out of the park with these new food items, like the classics, like pizza fries and twisted taters, but now we have things like, they have a new meat section that has like cauliflower wings and stuff like that, and there's a lot of awesome options this year alone. I'm super excited. Now you might be thinking, well, I could bring my own snacks. Yes, that is a suggestion I could give you if you want to save money, but there is that time frame. Like I said, 9:30 to 11, those front houses are going to be busy. And you could try to get yourself a late night snack around that time, because you have time to, I wouldn't say kill, but yeah, kill. During that time, you get food, go see a show. It is a good time around that era, around that time period when those front houses are crowded, to go and try some of that food this year. Number 2, now number 2 and number 1 kind of go hand in hand, but let's start off number 2. My number 2 tip is making a hype list. Now, I make a hype list because I just like to see, oh, how excited was I for the house at the beginning of the event, and actually how it turned out at the end of the event. That's what I do a hype list for, but this is more for a person who's going one night or only a couple nights. You make that hype list to see, okay, this is a house I have to go through at the top, or this isn't something I really want to see at the bottom. So if you have, say, a Blumhouse all the way down at the bottom, but you actually want to see Ghoulish, and that's somewhere in the middle, you might want to give or take right there and say, okay, I don't have to go see Blumhouse, but I really want to go watch Ghoulish. So you can cut out going to see Blumhouse and actually take the time and watch that show. So it's all about time management with these hype lists and planning, which takes me into number 1, having a plan. This is the end-all be-all tip, is having a plan of which houses you want to go to, what shows you want to hit, and doing your research, honestly, because those show times, you want to know them ahead of time. You want to know, okay, the back houses are dead at the very beginning of the event, the front houses are going to be busy around this time, when can we get food, when can we do this, when can we do that. So that is where planning comes in. And that's really what this whole video is about, is making sure that you are prepared for an entire night at HHN and making sure you get everything done. So in my personal opinion, I like to start in the back. If I'm doing Stay and Scream, Springfield all the way, because you get all of those houses back to back to back to back and get them over with only a couple hours into the night. It really helps maximize getting stuff done. And then I take my time, get some food, do some shopping, and then towards the end of the night, I start rocking with those front houses, because the times are starting to come down a little bit. So at least in my personal opinion, that is my game plan. And then if I can fit in a show in there, I will. But like I said, I go multiple nights, so I'm okay with just going some nights, seeing a show, sitting in the scare zones. But planning is key for those people who are going for one night and one night only. Now, I hope these top 10 tips for HHN were a little bit helpful in helping plan your night at the event. And if they were, please make sure you drop a like. And if you have any other tips for people, leave them in the comments below, because I'm sure I may have missed some things, or there's some things you know that could help out people. But as always, I'm Michael, giving you the all clear, and all clear means you are out of here. See you guys next time.